Today's coaster review is of Diamondback, the B&M Hyper Coaster at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. First opened in 2009, Diamondback snakes its way through the woods of the Rivertown section of the park and completes its journey with an epic splashdown that may be one of the most photographed roller coaster elements in the world. While Diamondback is no longer the tallest or fastest coaster in the park, there are still many coaster enthusiasts who consider it to be the best ride at Kings Island. Let's take a ride on Diamondback together and decide for ourselves how this Hyper compares to its Giga brother across the park. While we're on the lift hill, let's talk a little bit about Diamondback's stats. With a height of 230 feet, Diamondback is one of the taller B&M Hyper Coasters. The 215-foot first drop has an angle of 74 degrees and hits the ride's top speed of 80 miles an hour directly over the Rivertown Midway. Diamondback has an L-shaped out-and-back layout with a total track length of 5,282 feet. Diamondback treats its riders to a total ride time of approximately 3 minutes as it makes its way through its course. The ride's 8-car trains have staggered seating and really provide a great view no matter where you sit on the train. The first drop on Diamondback is excellent, and the long trains really result in the back rows getting whipped over the drop. The airtime throughout the drop is great, and it really sets the tone for the rest of the ride. Before you know it, you're roaring over the Rivertown Midway and past the old Tomb Raider building. There's a slight turn at the bottom of the drop, and this provides some nice positive G's as it weaves its way in between Tomb Raider and Mystic Timbers. Diamondback is all about floater airtime, with the majority of its course consisting of camelback hills. The hammerhead turnaround is a lot of fun, and it can be quite forceful if you're in the right seat. Diamondback does have a few turns to complement the camelbacks, and they serve as a nice change of pace as the ride progresses throughout its course. Like most B&M Hypers, Diamondback does have a mid-course brake run, and, unfortunately, it really does kill a lot of the ride's momentum. The brake run's a necessary evil to allow for 3 train ops, but it does seem to negatively affect the ride's overall pacing. After the mid-course, Diamondback cruises through a series of bunny hills that each provide a nice pop of floater airtime before it arrives at the ride's final act. The train enters a tight helix directly over the midway, and then dives down into the lake for a splashdown before hopping back up into the final brake run. While you don't get wet unless you're in the very last row, the splashdown proves to be a great climax to the ride, and the anticipation of this element resolves any pacing issues that are created by the mid-course brake run. Diamondback provides a relatively smooth, forceful ride, although there certainly are several points in the ride with a little bit of a rattle, particularly in the turn where the on-ride photo is taken. The B&M clamshell restraints are comfortable and fit a wide variety of body types, and the seats are elevated off the deck enough that your feet dangle freely. Combined with the staggered seating, the raised seats provide a very open ride experience. Visually, Diamondback is a gorgeous ride. Towering over Rivertown, it is visible from virtually every section of the park, and its B&M roar can be heard as far away as the parking lot. The splashdown adds a great kinetic energy to Rivertown, and it really serves as a focal point for this region of the park. While Diamondback is a great-looking ride, it is, unfortunately, completely lacking in theming. Unlike the more recent editions, Cedar Fair really phoned it in on Diamondback, with the extent of theming consisting of snake faces on the trains and a station that vaguely looks like a barn. The gift shop outside of the ride does at least fit into the Rivertown motif, so I guess the theming at least has that going for it. Diamondback benefits from having a unique mix of a strong layout, well-executed elements, good pacing, and an excellent presentation. The ride feels as if it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and leaves riders feeling as if they had a complete experience when they complete a lap. While other rides in the park may do certain things better, Diamondback is pretty good at everything. Sure, Mystic Timbers may have more airtime moments, and the Beast does a better job of disappearing into the woods, and of course Orion is taller and faster than Diamondback, but Diamondback is a ride that is not to be overshadowed by anything else in the park, and it can really stand on its own merits. Despite being over a decade old and having a brand new B&M Giga in the same park, Diamondback is still a crowd favorite and frequently has the longest line in the park. There is one thing that I personally feel that Diamondback does better than any other coaster I've ever ridden. If you can time it just right, a fireworks ride on Diamondback is an absolutely surreal experience. Riding up the lift, watching fireworks explode at eye level from the open seating will easily become one of your all-time favorite coaster moments. Diamondback is a crucial part of Kings Island's coaster lineup, and it's just as relevant in 2020 as it was in 2009. It may not be a popular opinion, but I personally feel that Diamondback is the superior ride to Orion, and it's my overall favorite hypercoaster. Have you ridden Diamondback? If so, I would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments section, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for more content from Coaster Center. Until next time, ride on, coaster fans.